Comic Book Weekly. You guys know the drill, man. Every single week, coming at you guys with my weekly pull list, all the comics I'm pulling this week. We have some comic book reviews, of course, everything I read the last week for New Comic Book Day. Got 11 things to review for you guys. And then in this New Comic Book Weekly, we're also taking a look at some of the new releases for the month of December. So every single month, a lot of new number ones coming out from both DC, Marvel, a bunch of the indies as well. So we'll be taking a look at some of the new number ones coming out for comic books this year. And then, of course, closing it out with an unboxing for one of the action figures. Which one are we going to be unboxing this week? Let's see. I think I said I wanted to unbox the Batgirl last week. Dropping everything. But I think the unboxing for this week's New Comic Book Weekly is going to be this classic Batgirl McFarlane. You guys are seeing it. Probably the definitive Batgirl from McFarlane. So we'll be opening this at the tail end of New Comic Book Weekly. But like I was saying, first we got to get through my weekly comic book pulls, my weekly comic book reviews for everything I read last week, and then we're going to talk about some new number ones as far as comic books go from DC, Marvel, and all the indies. Let's start off with that weekly pull though, okay? So let me know. What are you guys pulling this week? Of course, it is New Comic Book Day for December 3rd. Um, oh, dude, shout out in the chat. We got Southside Ronin. Love from Chicago. Love Chi Town. I always remember you commenting Southside Ronin. Every time I go around C2E2 time, you're always telling me, you're always commenting on my Chicago dogs and stuff like that. So thanks for checking in on a live. Really appreciate it, dude. Southside Ronin in the chat. We also got Seth the Tech, dude. What's up, Seth? How's it going? So yeah, talking about my weekly comic book pull list. As you guys can see, we got 12 pulls this week. A little bit of an asterisk on that. As you guys can see, Absolute Green Lantern is still on my pull list. I'm not sure if my shop will have one for me or not, but I've told them to drop the series. So in theory, this will be the last one, or they've already dropped it off my pull and I don't need to worry about it. But you guys can see $54.88. League of Comic Geeks is cool because it tells you your budget as well as helping you keep track of the upcoming releases. But the budget's really helpful if you guys are trying to budget your comic book every single month, dude. So yeah, let's get into the weekly pull list for December 3rd. Like I was saying, Absolute Green Lantern number 9, that is probably not going to be on my pull list. Um, wasn't liking the Green Lantern series, man. The Absolute one. Thought it was a little bit too slow. The way that Al Ewing was telling the story, not the biggest fan of the way he was telling the story. I think the art from, well, I guess there's a different artist on this one, but the previous issues had artist Lindsay down there. You guys see Janoy Lindsay. Thought that's a great look for Green Lantern. But yeah, just not the biggest fan of this Absolute Green Lantern series. So let's move on to the stuff that I'm actually pulling. All right. So, Adventures of Superman, the Book of L number 4. This is Philip Kennedy Johnson's series. It's a continuation of his Warworld saga. So, if you guys caught that, um, oh, dude, Set the Tech in the chat says he just read 2 issues of DCKO or DCKO issue number 2, and it's so good. Dude, I'm liking DCKO. And I think there's some DCKO releases this week as well that we'll get into, talk a little bit about. But Adventures of Superman, the Book of L. So, if you guys read his Warworld saga, this is a direct continuation of it. I'm having a ton of fun with it. It's Superman. Right now, he's off in space. Sorry, he's not in space. He's like time traveled way into the future on accident, and he's got to like try to find his way back. And in the future, it's like ruled by a bunch of brainiacs or whatever. So it's not going so hot in the future. So before Superman can get back, maybe he's gonna take care of all of the brainiacs in the future before he can get back to the past, back to his own time. But yeah, dude, I think that the whole Book of L kind of thing that Philip Kennedy Johnson's been doing for a long time now, I think he's just killing it. So yeah, having fun with this little, I think it's 12 issue series, Adventures of Superman. Moving along though, we got Batgirl number 14. It says Mission Impossible. The mission is simple: destroy the Unburied's powerful advantage in this war and get out alive. Nothing can go wrong, right? Last issue, we found out a little bit of a difference. Like the Unburied in this series, we thought that they were like wicked bad guys. Turns out that Shiva kind of messed with them first, like they had Maybe they were chilling out in the mountains or whatever, and Shiva was the one that kind of started the war. So Cassandra Cain's kind of dealing with the ramifications of that. But I've been loving this Batgirl series. Tate Bromble's been killing it. Looks like we have a guest artist on this one with Steven Segovia. But yeah, once we get, I'm sure that uh, let me just skip ahead. Looks like Steven again. Oh, here we go. So in 2 issues, we'll get, Miyazawa back on the art. Such a cool look for Cassandra Cain, Batgirl, and, yeah, just really enjoying this Batgirl series. Maybe my favorite member of the Bat family. Is that a hot take? I mean, of course, you got Nightwing, right? Everybody loves Nightwing, but Cassandra Cain, Batgirl's up there for me, man. So, in this series is a big reason why from Tate Bromble. Question in the chat from Set the Tech, of course. You guys leave your comic book questions in the chat, and we'll be sure to get to them. We got Set the Tech saying, do you think if comics become more popular, and do you think the price for each issue will go up from what it's at right now? That is a good question. You can see comic book companies starting to kind of push it a little bit and increasing the prices ever so little. Of course, you got stuff like variant covers, right? So there are always ways that these companies are starting to inch the price up just a little bit. Long time ago, for the longest time, comics were $3. They were stuck at that. Then they go to 4, and now they're just for example, right? There's no price on this one. Like, okay, Skin Breaker, for example, right? That's 4.99. That's pretty expensive. So comics kind of jump from the $4 to the $5, and it's kind of getting out of hand. Not gonna lie. So, yeah, dude, will comic prices go up? I could see it, but I really think you're gonna run out of like runway. You know what I mean? Like you can't increase it to $6 an issue, right? Like that's just crazy. At the $5, it's already starting to push it. So, um, yeah, I don't know. You know what though? I will say digital comics should be way cheaper. So if you buy something on digital, it should cost you like a dollar or two versus like $5. Um, yeah, I don't know why digital comics are the same price as like physical editions. I think that's crazy. But yeah, futures, I don't know what's gonna go on in the future if the price will go up. I'm not sure. Hard to say. Southside Ronin said he just left his LCS, and the comic book guy left Superman v Adam out, prepping for a new comic book day. Not gonna lie, I took a peek and it looked crazy. Yeah, so when we get into my pull list here, you guys will see there might be some DCKO tie-ins that I'm not pulling. Um, I'm like a little iffy on all the tie-ins. I'm doing the main series, some of the other tie-ins if it was a series I was already reading. But yeah, just like the all the fight month that's all going on, like all the 1v1 fights. I don't know if I'm doing all those. We got a great question from John Carlo Films. He says, "Who I got winning DCKO?" That is a good question. You know what though? I don't know who exactly died or didn't make it through round number 2, so I'd have to check on that, to see, but I wanna say it's gonna be a villain just because I feel like, I don't think it's gonna be Superman, you know what I mean? Like, I feel like that's too on the nose. So, yeah, who do I see winning DCKO? I'm not sure. But yeah. So, those are some questions, guys. If you got any more comic questions, leave them in the comments. What we're talking about Batman number 4. I've been loving this Batman series from Matt Fraction. I think he's killing it, having a ton of fun reading, like, the focus on, Tim Drake Robin as well is really appreciated. It says here, organized crime in Gotham has become really, really organized. So we see, I think it's the introduction of a new villain. We got the Minotaur coming in. So Matt Fraction taking a crack at a new Batman villain. Of course, you got Jorge Jimenez on the art. Just a fun series. I don't, everybody's pulling this, I'm sure, right? So Batman, the new ongoing series, been a ton of fun from DC. Southside Rowan, and he says his guesses are Lobo, Aquaman, and Superman to win the DCKO tournament. I could see Aquaman winning. He's been getting like a lot of love recently from DC, like his ongoing series. He got like upgrades with the powers, right? So with the whole absolute powers, the power switching and stuff, he's got a pretty good upgrade. He can control water and stuff now. So that's a good pick. I could see Aquaman winning. Um, Guy Gardner JK said the text said could be. I don't know. All right, so in terms of the pull list, right? So of course we're pulling Batman number 4. That's gonna be a ton of fun. Birds of Prey 28. I think this is the conclusion, dude. Sad to see it go. Oh wait, where'd that? Birds of Prey. I think it's over with issue 28. Got Basri coming back on the art. Sad, dude. So, oh, okay, it says right here, don't miss the final issue. One last mission, one final fight, no do-overs, no second chances. So yeah, dude, the unreality is collapsing and threatening all of Gotham. And yeah, dude, loving this Birds of Prey series. Too bad it's ending, dude. Hopefully you guys check it out in a trade. Hopefully you guys check it out in DC Universe Infinite. Because I was having a ton of fun. Sad to see it go. But of course, Kelly Thompson concluding her Birds of Prey series. Excited for that. DCKO Night Fight number 2. So we know that Batman, he like died in the DCKO event, right? He didn't make it to the actual tournament. Batman's got a little side quest going on. He's fighting a bunch of versions of Batman, and like alternate timelines kind of thing. It's kind of weird what's going on. We'll have to see if it can be a little bit more clear with issue number 2. But of course, Josh Williamson and Dan Mora on the art. That Dan Mora, busy guy, dude, doing a lot of stuff over at DC. It's kind of insane. But yeah, so DCKO Night Fight number 2. It says Batman versus Batman for the soul of Gotham City. So yeah, looking forward to that. Dan Mora, dude, this guy's busy. This guy's a beast. Alrighty, couple more issues to talk about. Fantastic Four number 6. So it looks like in this one, it's more of a full family affair. Actually, it looks like the Invisible Woman Part 1. But the last issue didn't really focus on the guys so much, really focused on Sue Storm, Ben Grimm's wife, and they were hanging out with Black Cat doing a little side issue kind of thing. But it looks like this one, extremophile aliens have invaded Earth. Their plan, stop the planet's rotation so the same side always faces the sun, and then colonize that boiling, deadly side for themselves. So it looks like the Fantastic Four is going to have to save them. We got Ryan North and Humberto Ramos, of course. I think they've been killing this Fantastic Four run so far. Obviously, it's Ryan North continuing his Fantastic Four. They kind of did a little new volume kind of thing. Marvel likes doing that. But yeah, I'm glad that I've been pulling the Ryan North series. A lot of great sci-fi goodness, right? So yeah, can't go wrong pulling some Fantastic Four. G.I. Joe number 15. This is Dreadnought War Part 3. I recently reread G.I. Joe and caught all the way up to Dreadnought War, and I've been loving it, dude. G.I. Joe is by far my favorite kind of section or side of the Energon universe. You got Transformers, you got Void Rivals, stuff like that. But I've been saying for a long time, G.I. Joe is my jam. I really like the kind of like spy espionage kind of take for this G.I. Joe series, and Joshua Williamson, Tom Riley, Jordy Belair, an all-star creative team there. So yeah, part 3 of the Dreadnought War. Excited about that. Giant Size Criminal, dude. Okay, so this is cool. The first criminal single issue in over 5 years arrives on the eve of the streaming TV series premiere. So, yeah, if you guys didn't know, there's a criminal series coming out on Amazon Prime, I think. So, to celebrate, Giant Size Criminal is coming out. Ed Brubaker, Sean Phillips. I think that Jacob Phillips is also coloring this one. So, the gang's all here. And then I guess it also comes with a tabletop RPG module written by Kieran Gillen. Okay, and then it's got some behind the scenes from the Criminal TV show, a fully illustrated guide to the world of Criminal and its key characters. So yeah, it's like a little one shot, a little Criminal news series with some extra bits in the back. And then next year, actually, it's Ed Brubaker, Sean Phillips. They're bringing us next year. It's called. I want to get this right. I don't know where it is. Oh no, okay. Is this it? No, that's just a reprint. I don't know. They're doing a new hardcover, but it's not here on the app. So I don't know what's up with that, but more Criminal coming next year is the point I was trying to make. All right, Cheeky Devil says started Sacrificers last week. Just cracked open volume 3 on Hoopla. So good. Am I reading this series? So I read volume 1 in a trade. I know that Kai Bucks has been giving its praise. Also, if you guys didn't check out the top 10 list, top 10 comic books in November, I did with Kai Bucks. Posted that yesterday. Ton of fun on that one. But in that one, he talks about Sacrificers. That actually made his top 10 list. So Kai's been telling me to read Sacrificers and catch up. So I have to at some point. I know it's really good. I like that volume number 1. I'm a big fan of Rick Remender. I think the art is really strong in Sacrificers too. So I'll catch up at some point. And then you also say, "Good day. Haven't read any Brubaker. Shame on me. What would I recommend, dude? Can't go wrong by starting with Criminal, dude. Uh, Criminal's not my favorite Ed Brubaker, Sean Phillips series. It's actually Fatale. So if you get a chance to read Fatale, that one's awesome. It's kind of like a horror. It's like Criminal, but like a horror and like magic kind of, right? So Fatale's pretty cool. Really strong female protagonist, really fun there. Um, yeah, I mean you can't go wrong with his Reckless series. I like Pulp a lot if you're into cowboys, right? So Pulp was really good. Ton of great Edward Baker and Sean Phillips stuff, dude. I've been reading a ton of it. All right, let's continue. Oh yeah, so JSA. I don't think this will be in my pull list. I told my shop to drop it. Hated doing that, man. That was like pulling teeth because I'm a big fan of Jeff Lemire, and it's not like I dislike the first 12 issues. It just took a lot to get there, right? Like when they finally had the battle with the Injustice Society and they stopped all the monsters from coming through the portal and everything, right? It's good stuff, but it's like, man, you took a long time to get there, Jeff. And I don't know if I can ride with you on another journey like that, you know? So I'll catch it on DC Universe Infinite. But yeah, I don't think JSA will be in my pull box. We'll have to see. And then Cheeky Devil also says, "Thanks, mate. I'll pitch these to my book club." Dude, yeah, if you pitch them like volume 1 of Fatale or something, or I guess it for it's a book club, maybe something shorter. Like if you guys did like Reckless book 1, like I think people would really love that. Reckless is pretty cool. And that's a nice short read. You can read the next like entries in the Reckless series, but if you just read like that first one, that should be pretty good for your book club, dude. That'd be pretty cool. All right, so JSA might not be picking that up. Two more things to talk about. Ultimate Universe 2 years in. So if you guys haven't been keeping up with the Ultimate Universe, it's probably well, I really like the Captain America series, but the Ultimate Universe is probably the strongest thing coming out of Marvel. So we have their 2 years in. It's like a little one shot. The last one shot gave us some insight on the Makers Council and the Hand organization run by an evil Nick Fury who's working for the Maker. It's kind of like a behind the scenes on that side of the Ultimate Universe. I'm not sure what this one don't miss the dawn of many new characters, including Ultimate Daredevil. So that's pretty cool, guys. If we're gonna be seeing Ultimate Daredevil, that's really cool. I didn't know about that. But yeah, just like the Ultimate Guardians of the Galaxy, like I think we saw them like very briefly in one issue, right? So I want to know more about this Ultimate Universe. I'll be sure to pick up this, especially the cosmic side of the Ultimate Universe. We haven't really gotten too much into that, as we see here. This looks like Ultimate Daredevil to me, dude. Kind of an interesting costume. You can see, like I don't know, is Matt. That's a weird costume. I'm not that into that. I'm not the biggest fan of this Daredevil costume, but we'll have to see. Maybe it'll look better on the page, right? Set the Tech with another question says, "Have I read other JSA comics from a couple years ago?" So I read the one by Jeff Johns, the one that was like, man, when that was coming out, that was trying to be my first JSA series. So many delays. Jeff Johns was doing some Ghost Machine stuff, so I think he was 1 foot out the door on DC, right? So his JSA series was like wicked delayed, and it wasn't the best, and it was kind of confusing, convoluted. So that wasn't a good first JSA series to read. I think that the Jeff Lemire JSA series is a lot better and easier to recommend for sure. So yeah, this JSA series just a little slow for me, but if you're into JSA, you're pulling it, I'm sure, and you're loving it because I think Jeff Lemire has a good sense of how to write the JSA. It's just a little bit too slow overall the series, but yeah, I gotta read like the old stuff, dude. Like I have it's not JSA, but I have like some. I gotta read some Teen Titans next year, and then I gotta read some of Jeff Johns like early JSA stuff before he came back a couple years ago to do like quick little like 12 issue kind of thing. Um, but yeah. Anyways, I think the last thing we're talking about, yeah, the Voice said Kill number 4. This is like a crime and war series. Takes place in the Bayou of Louisiana. It's got great artwork from Vanessa Del Rey. So you're looking at the cover here, give you guys a sense of what art to expect. Vanessa Del Rey with that very painted, very much packed full of detail. So I like her art style a lot. Vanessa Del Rey. Not the biggest fan of Cy Spurrier as a writer. He's writing this one very wordy. Not the biggest Cy Spurrier fan, but want to continuing finish out the series because I'm a big fan of Vanessa Del Rey. And that'll be it for weekly pull list, man. So everything I'm pulling this week, like it says here, there's 12 things, but I don't think Absolute Green Lantern will be on my list. And I don't think JSA will be on my list either. So probably 10 pulls this week for New Comic Book Day. Probably putting me around, what would that be like? Maybe like 45 bucks spent. So yeah, that's what we're looking like for New Comic Book Day, December 3rd. Now let's get into some weekly comic book reviews, man. Okay? We got 10 things to review. Oh, wait, actually, maybe it's 11. I forget. Let's see. What's the first thing? What's the best thing that I read all last week? Let's start off with Absolute Wonder Woman, okay? Maybe not the best thing I read last week, but we're gonna talk about it first. Absolute Wonder Woman is great. This is the part two of that little kind of mini arc where we find Diana fighting like an electric version of herself. So that was kind of weird. It seems like the Earth has, created this like figment of Diana to fight Diana because Diana's like too powerful, I guess. So it's like a self-defense from the world to fight Diana. And then Diana solves the problem not by punching, right? She's using her heart and she's using her brains. She goes down, she confronts Gaia, the mother of Earth or whatever, and kind of explains to her like, "Hey, you think that everything's going so good up there? It's not. Take a closer look. The Earth is terrible. I'm actually the antidote to like stop all this injustice. Like you have to let me free. I'll be a champion of you, Gaia, if you like help me out here. And I'm trying to fight the injustices of the world." And then Gaia agrees and she says, "Man, I had it all wrong. You will be my champion," kind of thing. So, yeah, that kind of leaves us in an interesting place as we see Wonder Woman about to team up with Absolute Batman in the next issue, dude. We're real excited. So yeah, Absolute Wonder Woman number 14, just a strong issue in the series. We got that guest artist, so it wasn't Hayden Sherman, but that's all right. We also get a little tease at Absolute Zatanna in this one. So, what role will she play in the future of this series? So, Absolute Wonder Woman number 14, pretty good there. Absolute Batman number 14, dude. You guys check this out. Listen, light spoilers ahead, but this was the battle between Batman and Bane. But Bane doesn't know that Batman's got backup. He's got Catwoman to help him out. He's got Alfred to help him out. Then, of course, he's working with Harley Quinn, the leader of the Red Hood gang, to also help him out. And Bane doesn't know what's coming to him, man. So Batman's got the support. We get this epic battle. The entire thing is essentially the battle between Bane and Batman. Killer Croc getting involved, of course. We get flashback to the time back in the day when Killer Croc, Waylon Jones, was going up against a boxing match against Bibbo or whatever, and Bruce Wayne was supposed to help him. So we've been getting teases of that little story all throughout. When you finally see the conclusion of it, kind of a parallel, kind of a reflection to Bruce Wayne's battle against Bane here. But yeah, pretty tragic at the end for this Bane character. He's just gonna be working for the Joker forever, dude. Poor guy. I mean, he's evil as shit, so I shouldn't say poor guy, but yeah, Batman comes out on top in this Absolute Batman number 14 with the help of Community and with the help of some other cool characters in this Absolute universe. Batman can't do it alone, and that's kind of the lesson that he's learned. So hopefully we get some more Batman characters introduced. Like they keep teasing the Dick Grayson, they keep teasing to Barbara Gordon and Commissioner Gordon, right? So I want to see them get more involved in the series. Let's talk about, let's see, let's talk about Power Fantasy number 13. So if you guys haven't been reading Power Fantasy, it is the best comic book on stands, I think. It's the best image comic for sure. So in this one, it's the fallout of Etienne going after this dude's son. How do I explain the series? It's a bunch of super powerful people, and it's kind of like a Cold War situation going on. If you attack me, super powerful person, I will blow up the Earth, and you won't be able to attack me because you don't want the Earth blowing up. So it's kind of like this Cold War back and forth between these super powerful people and all the moves that they've been making behind the scenes, like stabbing each other in the back, kind of thing. It's all out on the table here as we see the confrontation between Etienne and all the other characters in the story. And something happens in this one that's pretty crazy, and I don't know where it kind of leaves us. At the end of this issue, it's like, whoa, everything's changed now, dude. As you see this character maybe dying, right? So the Power Fantasy number 14, 13 continues to be an awesome series. Kieran Gillen, Casper Wingard with the beautiful artwork from Casper, and yeah, just a really intriguing story from Kieran Gillen. The more I go back and read Kieran Gillen stuff, man, like Kieran Gillen is kind of the goat. I'm not gonna lie, a lot of cool stories from Kieran Gillen. So Yeah, Power Fantasy number 13, my favorite Image comic book on stand. And we got a comment from Southside Ronin. He says Escape number 4 was a masterclass and what a filler issue is supposed to look like. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Listen, let's talk about it because I got issue number 4 of Escape right here and I loved it. So, like you were saying, it's a little bit of a sort of like a filler issue, right? But it really is just kind of like a breather moment for this Milton character. The past issues, right? His plane went down. He's trying to fight off the Nazis in World War II. His plane went down and he's behind enemy lines. So um, he's got to finish the mission. So it blows up like this big giant. It blows up this giant like weapon that the Nazis are going to be using. So that's his mission. He has to blow this thing up, even though he's behind enemy lines. And we see that he's been kind of taken care for from this, German, supposedly an enemy, and he's kind of learning the other side of it, right? Like, hey, the enemies, right, as you've been told, and all the propaganda says, a lot of times they're just people. Like this guy is just living with his kid, trying to keep his kid safe. It just so happens they live in Germany, right? But they didn't have any say on, what happened to their country and the Nazis kind of uprising and taking over. So it's kind of like Milton getting a taste of dose of reality. Like he's trying to see the behind the scenes on what the other side is like. And yeah, really compelling stuff, really emotional. Even though it wasn't as action packed as past issues, it's still great stuff from Rick Remender and Daniel Acuna. On the art, dude, is so crazy. What's a good example? Like right here, just the color palettes used, right? So like some like purpley blues into some like orangey, yellowy reds, right? So I think that Daniel Acuna is really killing it on this series from an art side, and then just the setup and the premise is just so cool. As we see this anthropomorphic bear behind enemy lines, trying to escape, name of the title, but he's also trying to blow up that big weapon to, save and end the war possibly. So that's kind of his goal. So yeah, Escape's been great. Let's see how many more issues to talk about. We'll blast through the rest of them pretty quick. DCKO number 2. Someone mentioned it earlier. So DCKO, I've been liking it a lot. DCKO as an event has been pretty fun. And this one, it's like the round 2, and we see a bunch of the people in the tournament. They have to go out and collect these artifacts, these really powerful DC artifacts. And if you, the last one to get one of these items, will kind of end this round. And then everyone who doesn't have an item will die and not make it on into the tournament. So it's like this big all-out race, all race battle to try to get all these artifacts as fast as possible, so you can move on to the next round. As we see Lex Luthor and Superman kind of going at it, it's just fun stuff, man. Like DCKO as an event, I was really kind of cautious and wary on how it would work, but they cemented it. DCKO is so fun. Let's see what happens like in the future with, I don't know, like Samantha the Bear and Homelander and Vampirella, like all these characters coming in. But so far, they haven't steered us astray. I think DCKO has been a lot of fun. So yeah, fun for a DC event for sure. Like coming from someone who's read Lazarus Planet and Beast World and all this other stuff, right? Night Terrors, right? So like this event is way better than all that stuff, dude. So yeah, DCKO, pretty fun there. Let's talk about the Invisible Man. Nice conclusion to this Universal Monsters series. As we find out that we thought he might have been murdered last issue, but the main guy, the scientist guy, he's kind of going crazy. He thinks that the kid who he turned invisible is going to go after him. And listen, he's not wrong, but the scientist dude has turned himself invisible in the meantime. So now he's stuck being invisible. Him and the kid who is also invisible as well, they get into like a little bit of a fight, a little bit of a scuffle there. And yeah, he ends up killing the invisible kid. And now he's invisible himself, and he's just got to wander the lands looking for a cure. As we see, there must be a way back, as we see here. So, really tragic story as we see just the downfall of this guy who, in theory, he had it all made, right? He's about to marry this beautiful girl. He's got a nice job as a scientist working with chemicals, but he's just driven to madness trying to become the Invisible Man, dude. So, I think that this Invisible Man series, Frankenstein's up top. I would say at this point, it's still going to be Dracula number 2, but Invisible Man is a solid third for the Universal Monsters. So if that sounds interesting to you, definitely check it out. I'm having a lot of fun reading those. Some nice horror series there. Let's talk about Geiger number 18. So in this one, we see Geiger. he's away from the rest of the group because in the last issue, he like exploded and he just shot off, right? So everybody's like, where did Geiger go? It turns out he's in this prison, and in the prison, there's like this treasure in the buried at the bottom of the prison. We got a guy who's trying to break into the prison. We have a warden who used to be an inmate who's running the prison, and so the pirate guy and the warden guy are kind of going to war, fighting over this treasure that's buried at the bottom of the prison. And Tariq Geiger is kind of stuck in the middle of it all. And the guys in the prison, they try to they try to electrocute Geiger. They try twice to electrocute this guy, but it doesn't work. And as we see here, his powers are in fact coming back, right? His eyes are burning through the mask. He's going full nuclear, and then it finally just explodes. And yeah, some great kind of action, great examples of the artwork in this series. I don't know how they get this stuff so green. Like this, it looks nuclear on the page. It's really cool. So yeah, Geiger continues to be an awesome series. And then as Geiger is about to become like so radioactive that he's gonna just blow up and possibly die. We see who comes to his aid, hands him the boron rods. It's of course his dog Barney, right? So of course, dude, had to save him, man. So yeah, just a really touching issue at the very end there, but just a really great example of the art in this series, like the action-packed nature of it. Geiger as a character is really cool, and I've been loving this series out of Ghost Machine Image. Might be my favorite Ghost Machine title. I've been saying that for a while, dude. So yeah, Geiger number 18. So great to be reading this month to month now, dude, not being behind. Skin Breaker number 3. A little bit of a downgrade from issues 1 and 2. It's just like, I don't know, for me, the artwork in this series is kind of doing all the heavy lifting. So it's a Robert Kirkman written series. It's all about this tribe. They are living their lives and they have a way of doing things. And this guy becomes the chief and he's starting to switch it up, starting to be more smarter about how they do stuff, right? Like, hey, why don't we set traps to kill these animals, right? Instead of going out and possibly dying in a hunt, why don't we trap them, dude? And we can just have food for days. But some people in the tribe are not down with the way he's trying to change things. It's not the way we do it, right? So they're getting mad at him. And this chieftain guy is sort of aging as well. And at the very end of this issue, someone with different ideas on how the tribe should be working confronts him and says, "Hey, I want to be the chief." And in this world, if someone challenges you to be the chief, you got to accept it, right? So in the next issue, challenge is made. We'll see this older chieftain guy going up against this like younger buck dude to see kind of the future of the tribe will be set, right? So Skinbreaker number 3, it's got this great David Finch artwork doing a lot of the heavy lifting, but pretty solid story from Robert Kirkman. Not my favorite thing on stands, but that artwork is really cool. Let's talk about the DCKO tie-ins real quick. So we got the Superman one issue with Superman number 32, and then we have the DCKO tie-in Justice League Unlimited issue 13. So issue 13 of Justice League Unlimited followed the Terrific 10, as you guys can see here on the cover. This is a group of time-displaced superheroes from all different points of time. They all kind of come together. They can't go back home right just now. So Mr. Terrific's like, hey, why don't you work with me? Join the Terrific 10, and we can go on missions that no one else can go on because, they might die. But essentially, these Terrific 10 members are expendable. They don't have a point in time that they live anymore or whatever. So it's okay if they die, I guess. So like a Suicide Squad, but for heroes. And so yeah, it's like a little mission that the Terrific 10's going on. And then over here on the Superman side, we see how Lex Luthor prepared for the DCKO tournament. So the point that we thought, hey, no villains are going to be allowed in this tournament, all the superheroes were like, okay, cool. All the villains are in the Phantom Zone. Turns out Lex Luthor, he got wind of that plan ahead of time. He had some stuff in place where he wasn't ever going to go into the Phantom Zone, and he was preparing for the tournament in a different way with a bunch of the other villains. That's how they were able to break into the DCKO tournament at the very start in issue number 1, right? So yeah, cool to see that behind the scenes of what Lex Luthor was up to, and then the Terrific 10 has been a really fun storyline so far with Mr. Terrific and a bunch of other fun DC heroes all throughout time. And yeah, just continue to be impressed by DCKO. It's a really well put together event. Nothing feels really out of place. Everything kind of feels like it's been leading up to this point for a while now. And yeah, it's really impressed by the way they're handling this event. Very very different than how I feel about past DC events for sure. So yeah, we got two more issues to talk about. We'll get through them quick. Green before we talk about some number ones for the month of December. We got two more reviews for you, and then we'll close out this new comic book weekly by unboxing the classic Batgirl, of course. So that'll be at the tail end. But first, we got to talk about Green Arrow. So yeah, this was the final battle with the Crimson Archer guy. As we see, Green Arrow, he's joined by Speedy, and he's joined by Speedy's daughter to take down this Crimson Archer. And I just love it, man. This is artwork from Monthos. It's such a great look for Green Arrow and great writing from Chris Condon, like great family stuff as well. Maybe at times we're a little bit worried that the family stuff was taking a little bit of a back seat in this Green Arrow run, but Chris Condon just shows, hey, I can write the family stuff too, as we see here, as we see Speedy, Green Arrow, and his daughter. Excuse me, got a little bit burp. But yeah, I don't know. Green Arrow's been awesome. Sad to see it go. Sad to see it ending. And yeah, dude. Well, I got one more issue before this ends for good. But yeah, I think the Crimson Archer guy was pretty evil, pretty cool villain. Cool villain design as well too. But yeah, Green Arrow issue number 30. Sad days as we see it. One more issue left for this awesome. This really was like a top 5 series at DC, and now it's ending. It's kind of sad. And then last but not least, we got Batman, Green Arrow, The Question, Arcadia. I'll be honest with you guys, straight up, wasn't my favorite DC Black Label series or like issue number 1. And maybe I would recommend not picking it up the rest of the series. Kind of hard to say. So the writing, I just felt like it was a little bit wordy at times. I guess like the kind of setup is that like there's this conspiracy going on, and it turns out that all these three heroes are kind of tied into it, or they have a little bit of insights into it, and they're all going to meet to help solve the conspiracy. And yeah, I mean, just not like my favorites. The art was cool. I think Gabriel Hardman has a really cool art style, but I don't know, the writing just was not my favorite, and kind of took a little bit to get through all the way. You know what I mean? Like I didn't. It wasn't as speedy of a read as like the rest of this stuff. I was like, dang, this series, this issue is still going, huh? So yeah, I don't know. I can't say I would recommend the rest of this series, man. And that sucks to say because I'm a big fan of DC Black Label. But yeah, so that's what we got. The weekly comic book reviews. Every single week, you guys know I'm bringing you my weekly comic pull list. I'm bringing you the weekly comic book reviews. So that's what we got for this week. And of course, new comic book weekly every Monday around 4 p.m. Eastern, man. So that's what we got. So yeah, that's the comic book pull list and the weekly comic reviews. And of course, let's talk about the new number ones in the month of December from all the different comic book publishers. Let's see if this works. Okay, it worked. All right. If you guys haven't used this before, this app is called League of Comic Geeks. A lot of cool different features that are helpful if you're trying to collect comic books. One of the cool features is you can see the upcoming number ones. So I thought we could just take some time here, not too long, right? But we'll just poke through and see if any of these number ones interest us at all. Okay, so scrolling through, I think the first one that jumped out to me, we were talking about all the DCKO tie-ins, right? So this one is round 1 of 8. It's Superman versus Captain Atom, and it looks like Williamson is writing this, which is cool. I don't know if I'm gonna be picking up all the DCKO tie-ins, man. So tough to say if I'll be picking this one up. If my shop has these like out, I might pick them up, but I really think I'll check them out on DC Universe Infinite um, when they end up on the app, right? So that's the first kind of DCKO thing of the month. And as I'm scrolling through, if you guys see something that you want more info on, let me know for sure. We also have a Doctor Strange series coming out. If you didn't know, he is not the Sorcerer Supreme of Earth anymore. He's the Sorcerer Supreme of Asgard. So that happened at some point. So I think this follows Stephen Strange. He's still on Asgard or still out in space, the Nine Realms doing his thing. So if you're into, I guess, like the cosmic side of Marvel, this might be a good pick. But yeah, we see Doctor Strange hanging out with Sif back there. Yeah, it's pretty cool. Not going to pick it up though. Is that a hot take? I don't know. Dread the Halls. This is going to be I think it's an anthology series, a little anthology issue. 72 pages of all new Tales of Holiday Horror for only $7. So if you're into these kind of Christmas releases that a lot of the publishers like to do, this one is from Image Comics, Dread the Halls #1, or Dread the Halls 2025. Essentially like a special, you know. So yeah, that's pretty cool. We have that Giant Size Criminal coming out. Misclicked here. Giant Size Criminal is the first new criminal single issue in over 5 years. And this is going to be arriving on the eve of the streaming TV series premiere. So the series is coming out from Amazon. If you guys didn't know about that, I think it's Amazon. But yeah, so to celebrate the release of the show, Ed Brubaker, Sean Phillips decided to get together and do another one shot special for Criminal Dudes. That should be pretty cool. And then I think next year they're going to continue Criminal by bringing us a new volume, man. So maybe like a new hardcover. So yeah, Giant Size Criminal. Looking forward to that one. That'll be out December 3rd. Hulk Smash Everything. This is a series written by Ryan North. I'm not like a big Hulk guy, you know, but this one says it's going to be nonstop action in the classic Mighty Marvel manner from Ryan North and Vincenzo Carit Karatu. So yeah, guaranteed smash hit. Is Hulk really the strongest there is? Sure, he's stronger than most people, but is he really stronger than everything? So yeah, I don't know. Ryan North writing a Hulk series, that should be pretty fun. Ryan North killing it over at Marvel. Of course, he headlined the whole event they just had, and he's been killing it on the Fantastic Four side of things. Dabbled a little bit in the DC side, but he's firmly over in the Marvel doing a new Hulk series. That should be pretty fun. Going through, we got Ultimate Universe 2 years in, little one shot. They did this last year also. So yeah, if you're into the Ultimate Universe, you want a little bit of behind the scenes, you gotta pick up this new one shot. 2 years in is coming out. Let's see. Okay, we got another DCKO tie-in. Lobo versus Wonder Woman. I hope Wonder Woman kicks his ass, dude. This is cool though. I'm noticing that all the covers on these tie-ins are from Jorge Corona, so that's cool. Looks like this is round 3 of 8. This is going to be the Ultimate SmackDown as two heavy hitters fight for the crown. So, yeah, really hoping that Wonder Woman kicks his ass. Let's keep it moving. We got new Donald Duck. That's cool. New some Mega Man. You're into that. This is from Oni Press, another one of those horror Christmas sort of releases. If you're into that, some anthology stuff, some Shiver suspense stories. So let's see the creative team on this. No one that rings a bell except for Leo Max. I like Leo Max art style. So yeah, that's cool from Oni Press. That's coming out December 10th. Get you ready for the Christmas season. We see scrolling. Black Panther Intergalactic? The Intergalactic Emperor of Wakanda, T'Challa, the King of Wakanda, faces the challenges of uniting all of his kingdom on Earth and in the stars. That's pretty cool, dude. So, a little bit of a space adventure for Black Panther. That's kind of neat. I'm a little bit out of the loop on the Black Panther side of things. What's he doing in space? I have no idea. Another DCKO tie-in with Harley Quinn versus Zatanna. All right, so how's that gonna work, dude? Okay, how's that gonna work? Harley Quinn got some powers I don't know about. We'll have to see, man. If Harley Quinn makes it out of this one, that might be crazy, right? That might be crazy. Poor Zatanna. Anyways, keeping it moving. We're already past December, like the halfway point past the year of the month. I'm sorry. Okay, another DCKO time. We got the Joker versus Red Hood. This should be pretty interesting, of course. They got some history, right? If you've you've read that story, they got some personal beef. It looks like this will be round 8 of 8. And yeah, dude, Scott Snyder, Joshua Williamson, Dustin Nguyen on the art. Damn. If anything, this is probably the one to get. Not gonna lie, with that Dustin Nguyen on the art, that's pretty cool. So yeah, the Joker versus Red Hood. That should be fun. Um, yeah, dude, we're almost done here with all the issue number ones. We got stuff like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Battle Nexus. So if you're into kind of it's kind of weird, right? Like, where does this fit in with the rest of the? It's a TMNT event. So there's a 5-part weekly series. Um, for the first time, IDW's Heroes in Half Shell meet allies from other fan favorite TMNT universes as they fight for their lives and discover the unbelievable secrets of Battle Nexus. So that's interesting, dude. I have no idea what's going on. I'm reading the mainline TMNT series. Not so much of these spin-offs. Like, I don't know what's going on with this. Is this in the same universe and continuity that I was just reading in the main IDW series? I don't know. No idea. Um, Marvel Winter Break special. So we saw all the we saw all the different releases from the indie side, like with Oni Press and Image Comics, but Marvel Comics has their own, of course, with the Marvel Winter Break special. Um, so that should be cool. Wait, does DC not have one? No, they've got one. Maybe that already came out though. Oh, I saw this too. Did want to point it out. Image comp. Oh my god. Hold on. All right, dude. So we're talking about this stocking stuffer. So DC Image Comics, they're putting a bunch of their ratio variants in a blind bag. So just like another example of the blind bag phenomenon that's overtaken comics. I don't know about this one. As we see here, someone put together a list of all the blind bag comic book releases, right? So yeah, there's been a lot recently. All right, let's see. Scrolling through anything we missed, because I think that's pretty much it for all the number ones. As we see here, we're already in December 31st. Sorcerer Supreme, I guess that's another big release from Marvel, as the Scarlet Witch is now going to be the Sorcerer Supreme, I believe, from Steve Orlando. So that's pretty cool. He's been writing a lot of Marvel series, he's been killing it. So yeah, you keep doing your thing, Steve, with this new Sorcerer Supreme Scarlet Witch series. I just ran. I had to unlock the door for my wife. I accidentally locked her out. Okay. All right. So yeah, I don't know if anything else is of note for the month of December in terms of number one. Kind of a slower month. I guess I'll mention this, right? We got the Will of Doom from Chip Zdarsky. I think this is a one shot, but it'll lead into the Armageddon event that's supposed to happen next year from Chip Zdarsky. A Chip Zdarsky led Marvel event should be pretty cool. So I think the Will of Doom might be an important read for that. I didn't see the DC release for their Christmas thing. They have one? They must have had one, but it might have came out in the month of November. Yeah, anything else that I'm missing as I'm scrolling through here? Not really. Yeah, I really think it's kind of a light month, the month of December. Um, Terminator, new Terminator series. The Terminator Santa Claus is coming to town. I don't know, dude. I don't know what's going on with that. Yeah, dude, I really think that's it. So DC must have come out with theirs in November, and that's kind of it. Some Christmas stuff, some DCKO tie-ins, some new Marvel number ones, and yeah, that's it, dude. That's all we're talking about for the number ones. The new series coming out, comic book side of things for the month of December. So yeah, anything I missed, be sure to let me know in the comments. Okay, Paul Dev, shout out Paul Dev. He says, "I'm gonna keep TMNT on my pull list in December with the new creative team joining. I'm thinking of starting there." I love that question, dude. So I get why some people would want to drop it, but if you've been reading the Jason Aaron and Juan Ferreira stuff, it sounds like this new creative team coming in, they're just going to pick up right where that left off. So if you've been reading it, I would say keep reading it. But if you're thinking of jumping on, tough to say if it's a good jumping on point. The way that Jason Aaron and Juan Ferreira left it, it was kind of like the brothers getting back together. They're now like brotherly towards each other, not fighting so much anymore, and that's kind of where he left it, right? So It's kind of like a good starting point for the Turtles. Just like a great foundation, I guess, is that they're working together. Again, where Jason Aaron and Juan Ferrer were the start of their run, all the Turtles were kind of separated, doing their own thing. There was some kind of fighting that happened between them to split them up, but all that is in theory resolved. So Juan Ferrer and Jason Aaron's run coming to an end, and then who's the new creative team? I forget. It's uh, I forgot who's writing it. Uh, Lewin Yang, Gene Lewin Yang, I think is writing it, right? And then we got Freddie E. Williams, I think, coming to do the art. I forget. Giancarlo Film says one of the best comic book channels, dude. Appreciate it. Appreciate it. All right, guys. So that was our number ones for the month of December. Of course, we also did our comic book review. So if you guys missed it, that was at the beginning of the episode here for New Comic Book Weekly. We also talked about our weekly comic book pulls, everything I'm pulling for this week, December 3rd. That was at the very beginning of this episode here. But now I like to close it out by doing some action figure unboxing. So, yeah, if you guys are only here for the comic stuff, appreciate you stopping in. I'll be posting all of these different segments as their own videos on the channel throughout the week. So, if you prefer to watch them that way, definitely stay tuned. But now we're going to unbox this classic McFarlane Batgirl figure. So, yeah, you want to stay tuned for that. Paul Dev says, yep. Nice, dude. Alrighty, so I always forget to maybe open the box like before I start recording. Um I think that I have a Batgirl up there. Actually, maybe I can grab it. This is the Batgirl that I currently have on my Bat Family shelf. It's kind of a kit bash of like I took a head off of another Batgirl, popped it onto this one because the other one I had, her hair was brown, and I'm like, dude, isn't Barbara Gordon like known for being a redhead? So I put a different head on it. Doesn't really match, right? Kind of looks weird. Not the best. So I was very happy when McFarlane said, "Hey, we're putting out the most definitive McFarlane Batgirl you've ever seen." I had to jump on it right away, dude. So that's going to be replacing her on the shelf. Yeah, very excited about that. I wasn't the biggest fan of the way that kit bash turned out, but like I said, the other head was brown, man. How are you gonna have a brown Barbara Gordon? Brown hair Barbara Gordon. All right. Got the box open. As you guys can see. Oh, you guys cannot see. As you guys can see, we got the box open. You can see all the accessories she comes with. She's got a Batarang. She's got a blue, like a, what do you call that, dude? Like a bat grapple thing, like a grapple hook. Okay. And let me show you guys the card, of course. So we get the art card, nice print of Batgirl on the front. Very cool look for her costume. And then, of course, you get the data file. You guys can pause and read Barbara Gordon, her data file if you don't know about her. And then, of course, let's get into the actual figure itself. Wait, hold on. I got to show you this dinky McFarlane stand. So, yeah, it's got the dinky McFarlane stand with the new DC Bull logo. That's a pretty cool touch. But, yeah, nothing crazy there. All right, so I see one to cut on her hand. One to cut on her other hand. Oh. And one around her. Oh. Dang it. Dang it. Oh, man. Dude, McFarlane, you gotta stop with this shit, man. Dude, I will like... How come you need to do this every time? Sometimes you get a figure and it's got like one thing need to pop. Sometimes it's got like 4 or 5. This one is... Okay. We got it, guys. We got it. Let's get her out. So, first thing right off the bat is I'm noticing her cloth cape. That's a very nice touch. It's got a wired on it. Let's get the other accessories out there real quick. Okay. awesome. I get these like plastic little tabs all over my room all the time. Alrighty, so we got the Batgirl out of the packaging. The accessories she comes with. Got this nice fat, this real fat Batarang, blue, nice blue Batarang, and then we get the blue accented grapple hook. Let's check if it's straight, guys. Yeah, that's pretty decent. Sometimes these are all bent and warped, but this one's pretty good out of the box. Dinky stand, you got the art card. All right, let's get into the figure itself. Like I was saying, it's got that really nice wired cape. It's got the wire running down the side, not across the bottom, but look at the cutouts for the cape, dude. That's pretty cool. It's not just straight across like typical McFarlane figures. Paul Dev says, hopefully Mattel makes them easier to take out of the box. Lol. Yeah, dude. I get it. Like you don't want people going to Walmart and just opening up the figure and like stealing, but it's got to be a different way, dude. Like it's got to be a different way. Even if they were like the twist ones, right? Okay, anyways, got the cape. I think the cape looks great. Nice bright blue. That's like a baby blue. That looks pretty cool. Very different than the current lineup I have for all the other Bat family. This is like a nicely accented figure. Okay. The cape, as far as like how wide it gets, I mean that's a wide cape, dude. That's pretty cool. That's pretty nice. Let's look at the head. You guys see the sculpt in a little more detail. I wish I had a better oh, that's not too bad. That's not the worst. We switched my top-down camera, so it's no longer my iPhone, and now it's an actual webcam. So in theory, should allow it to focus a lot better. So yeah, dude, that's the portrait on this. I like the kind of shadowy, cartoonish accents on it on the black. That's just a cool look for a head sculpt. She's got her lipstick on. She's got her blue eyes poking through. I think that the hair looks really good poking out of the cowl as well. I'll give you a look at the back. Let's talk the 360. You doing the 360? That's cool. Okay. As far as the up and the down, you can't go so far back, and that makes sense because the hair, right? And then as far as the front, you can go a decent front. She's almost touching the chin on the chest. So yeah, pretty decent head articulation there. Doesn't look like the hair gets in the way. And in fact, as you guys see, as I'm turning the hair, it kind of like moves. Like it's like movable. There's like a almost like a joint um in the hair. I guess I don't want to do this too much because it like breaks it, but it really feels like there's some give there, which is really appreciated. So nice head articulation. Let's see the T pose. She can do the T pose and a little more. Of course, you get the 360 on the shoulders, you get the 360 on the bicep, and you get that double jointed clicky elbows McFarlane is known for. And then you get the 360 on the wrist with that kind of ratcheted wrist joint that McFarlane likes doing. I like the gauntlets. I think it's a nice length for the spikes coming out of the gauntlets. I just really like the yellow accents against the gray. I think that's really cool with the blue accents to kind of tie it all together. Really cool combo, color combo for Batgirl. So those are the arms. Let's look at the crunch. Okay, you're crunching. That's a decent crunch. The back crunch. Wow. She's going back like crazy though. That's crazy. Yeah. I mean, that's like far back, and then the front is a decent amount more than what you'd see in a typical McFarlane, I think. So that's pretty cool. And of course, you get the 360 on the torso. Paul Dev says, "Do you think we'll be getting any blind bags for issue 1 of Ultimate Endgame in December? I've heard a lot of people saying they are getting tired of them." Yeah, it's interesting. I won't be like I'm just getting a cover A, I think. But a lot of people are excited about those blind bags. Some are not so excited, like you're saying. I think I'm kind of over the blind bag craze. Every series doesn't need a blind bag, all right? Like I get it if it's like an event. Endgame, that makes sense, right? Or like even the Batman #1. I was like, really? Batman #1? So yeah, I'm over the blind bags, I guess to answer your question. Let's look at the crotch joint, pretty typical of McFarlane. You guys kind of feel it a little ratchety. I guess I will say this leg's a little bit loose, maybe just a tad bit. Of course, you get that slight turn in on the legs, nothing too crazy. Maybe you'd want a little bit more. Of course, you get that high kick. Not the highest kick. I mean, you can kind of push it. You can kind of push that kick to be higher, but that's not. I guess that's probably pretty normal. I guess in the past unboxings I've done, there have not been any kick at all, so this is probably way better than those. On the back kick there, Evan SP 764 says yes, Ultimate Endgame is getting blind bags. Yeah, not so excited about the blind bags personally. I'll probably be passing on those. Okay, so you get the kick forward and the kick back pretty decent. You get that double jointed, nice crunchy knees. And then you get that kind of ratchety 360 capable ankle joint down there. And you get that toe articulation, of course, classic McFarlane staple. So overall, for this figure, I would have to give it on the looks. The looks, it's getting a 9.5 out of 10. I don't know how you improve the looks of this figure anyway. Maybe if her facial expression, it's like a little neutral, but that's probably what you want. You want it to be neutral as opposed to like a crazy grin or something like that. That those kind of ruined figures in the past, right? So probably like in the neutral look on her face, and then just like the color combos. I think it's really cool. Yeah, okay, let's just compare real quickly. So it's looking like pretty much the same figure. So good thing I brought this to compare. This looks like the same figure, just in different, like instead of gold, you're using yellow. But the legs are looking the same. The boots are looking the same. The abdomen's looking the same. Are the gauntlets even the same? Yeah, the gauntlets might be the same too. So this is the same figure except for kind of the cape where the cape meets the cape meets the torso. Is obviously different here because this is a wired cape. So yeah, pretty much a complete reuse of parts, which I never minded. I know some people are really sticklers about that and they want it to be completely unique parts every single time they do a figure, but I get the need for reuse and stuff like that. And I think the what do I prefer, the gold accent or the yellow? I guess the yellow is kind of a more like it's not so flashy, you know. It's like just a nice yellow on the gray. Um, and then yeah, dude, I think that so yeah, for the looks of this figure, you're going 9.5 out of 10. In terms of accessories, it could have been cool to include like a a hand weapon like this. I don't really need grapple hooks so much. Miss me with those. I don't really know what to do with them. This this freaking batarang is huge though. You guys see that? You can put it in her fingers, I'm sure. And then of course, that's going to be another knock on this figure. You don't have as many hand swaps as you probably want. In fact, you don't get any. So that's a little bit of a shame. No hand swaps. So I guess with the accessories, probably giving the accessories like a 6 out of 10. But just the look of the figure alone, I mean, that's worth a buy just by itself, I think, right? So yeah, 9.5 on the looks. We'll give this figure an 8 out of 10 overall. Could have had some more accessories, could have had some hand swaps, would have appreciated like a head swap maybe, right? But yeah, I think overall they nailed the look of this figure. That wired cape is so sick. It's wicked big. Probably the biggest, might be the biggest wired cape I have now, besides like the Nightfall Batman, I think. So yeah, that's what we got. That's been the unboxing and review of the Barbara Gordon Classic McFarlane. As you guys can see, be sure to stay tuned next week for another unboxing. What should we unbox? I don't know, dude. We'll figure it out. Maybe a Wonder Woman, a classic Wonder Woman. That might be cool. So, of course, the action figure unboxing. We already went through the number ones for the month of December. We did some comic book reviews, and then we talked about all the comics I'm looking to pick up this week for New Comic Book Day, December 3rd. That's been New Comic Book Weekly every single Monday around 4 p.m. Eastern. I'm bringing you guys a bunch of comic book topics, a bunch of action figure topics live, man. So that's what we got. New Comic Book Weekly. I'll catch you guys in the next one, dude.